This week we're doing something slightly different. It's still a review, so don't worry. But you see, in the office we've been having a debate on whether you can use a convertible at this time of year. My theory is, technically you can, but it'd be rather uncomfortable. My colleagues believe that not only is it doable, it's actually rather nice. I guess there's only one way to find out, isn't there? Let's get into it. My name's Tom, and you're watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. Now, ground rules. I get to choose my own car. However, it must be a convertible, obviously, and I must have the roof down during my commute home and my commute to work in the cold hours of the morning. So what have I chosen? Well, I've gone for this Bmw 420D Cabriolet, not because it's the only convertible we have in stock, but also because it has all the tools I need to combat the cold weather. From heated seats to a heated wheel, it really does have it all. It even has this thing called air collar, which blows hot air at your neck. I'm hoping the combination of all that tech can keep me warm. Before we find that out, let's have a quick look at what the engine has to offer. This is the 420D, so it's basically your bog standard diesel. It makes do with 190 horsepower and 400 Nm of torque, and should be good for 0 to 60 in no more than 8 seconds. What about the 30 to 70 sprint though? How much does the extra weight of that roof drag this thing down? Let's find out. Well, unsurprisingly, it's slower than the coupe, but with a time of 7.49 seconds, it still beat the 420i, which is the petrol equivalent. I guess the diesel just has that extra bit of punch over the 2-litre petrol. Now we know the difference in engine performance, let's have a quick look at the boot, as even though it's a convertible, you're still going to want to be able to do a weekly shop in it. Well, with the roof down, the situation does look fairly dire, but the BMW has a fairly neat trick up its sleeve to help you out. And no, it's not just putting the roof up. When you come to the boot with your shopping, you can actually use this little button here to raise the roof up just enough so you get access to the rest of the boot. This makes sliding things through much easier, and is a genuinely useful feature. Right, let's get commuting. Right, so we're on the way home. It's finally stopped raining, sort of. I've got my heated steering wheel on, the heated seat. I've got the temperature turned up as high as it will go. And I've got my air collar on full. And do you know what? It's actually almost too warm in here at the minute. The car is already warm though. The thing I'm scared of is going to be the morning commute tomorrow, when it's going to be really cold and the car's starting from cold as well. And the reason I'm scared of that is because diesels do take a while to warm up. So maybe that might be a bit too cold, but so far this is absolutely fine, especially if you're driving around town with it. We're going to take the scenic route home, so let's skip to that part because that's a slightly faster road, and we'll see how it deals when we're going above 30 miles an hour. Okay, we're on a faster road now. It's actually going to Sports Plus, may as well have a bit of fun on the way back. Okay, that's 60 miles an hour. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. I'm guessing it's a bit buffety. Doesn't feel too buffety in the cabin. I've got the wind deflector up as well, which does actually seem to be making a bit of a difference. And again, it's 13.5 degrees, and I'm not remotely cold. If anything, I could turn the temperature down a bit. I think the one thing that's actually really helping is that neck level heating, because if your head's warm, it kind of gives you this almost false sensation that the rest of your body's warm. But the neck level heating and the heated seats and the heated wheel means none of my extremities are cold, and my feet are down right in the footwell anyway, so there's no cold air there anyway. it's actually surprisingly usable in the winter or in the autumn. You know, at most you can feel like fresh air coming in from over the top of the car, but I mean, it's almost nice, you know. It's crisp, and it certainly doesn't make you feel cold. I'm genuinely surprised. I thought anything below like 18 degrees was going to feel absolutely freezing in a convertible. But if anything, this is genuinely pleasant. It's a nice thing to do. You know, knowing this now, I would actually have the roof down. But what's it like during a morning commute with a cold engine, a cold car, and a much lower starting temperature? Right, it's 8:45 in the morning, just over 10 degrees. All I have is a jacket on. That's usually what I wear to work at this time of year. We're going to see if we can drive to work with the roof down. It's a totally clear morning as well, so it feels really, really cold. Let's get the engine started. Heated seat on, air collar on, heated steering wheel on. Right, let's get the roof down. It was so cold last night, it actually set off the tyre pressure warning system, because the front left went down to 1.8 bar, which is pretty low. So we're going to drive to work and top that up, and then we're going to do a full review on this car. It's going to be interesting to see how it handles as well compared to a normal 4 Series Coupe. Right, let's get going. Now the engine's cold, so I'm not getting any warm air out of the vents yet. But that neck level heating and heated seat and heated wheel is already getting pretty warm actually. Right, we're up to 30 miles an hour, and again, just like yesterday, the car kind of just encapsulates you when you got the windows up. So for driving around town, it doesn't feel cold at all. I mean, you could probably drive in like 0 degrees and it would feel about the same. We're going to take the scenic route to work, which has got some faster roads though, so hopefully we can get a slightly better impression on what this car's like, especially what it would be like on the motorway. One thing I actually want to try is, what happens if I put all the windows down? Now this might be a bit too much for the microphone. Let's see. Yeah, it's not too bad yet. You definitely feel a lot more airflow, that's for sure. Well, hopefully you can still hear me, but even with all 4 windows down and the roof off, it's totally fine. I cannot complain. I reckon you could go up to 60 miles an hour doing this quite easily. Perfectly comfortable, which I don't really understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's 8.5 degrees here. And, you know, heated wheel, heated seats. The car's now warm as well, which I think is a big factor because it's creating this like curtain of air over me. Do you know what, if someone asked me if you could use a convertible at this time of year, I would say absolutely not. No way. You'd freeze to death in minutes. But it's actually nice. It wakes you up a bit because you get a little bit of fresh air in. But there's no buffeting. It's not too loud. And on a morning like today, it's actually really nice. I am going to have to put the windows up now though, just so you can hear me. Now before we get back, we're actually going to time how long it takes to get the roof up. So I'm going to put a timer on the screen now, and go. I'm going too fast. And go. You have to be below 10 miles an hour. That's the one disadvantage with these hardtop roofs. A convertible, like a regular fabric convertible, I think you can go up to about 28 miles an hour before you have to slow down. This you have to go painfully slow to actually put the roof up. And we're done. Right, let's see how this 420D Cabriolet handles with the roof up. Gonna go into Sports Plus, gearbox into Sports as well, and that's about it. This stiffens up the steering, or weightens up the steering, and most importantly turns the traction off. Let's see how this handles compared to the coupe. Still got that BMW feeling. Oh, nice rear drive bias. I love this gearbox, man. It's so snappy for a torque converter, and it gives you a little thump in the back when it changes gears as well. It's really nice. In fact, let's control it manually because it is actually pretty good. Brakes are nice and sharp. These are the full M Sport brakes, the same ones you'd get on like a 440i. And you just ride that wave of torque. Steering is lovely. Feels exactly the same as the coupe. Nearly killed a pigeon there. Handling is good. One thing I'm noticing though is even with the roof up, the tail feels a bit more planted, which is weird. There's definitely some more weight over the rear. Give it one more go. You most definitely can get it sideways. It's still a BMW at the end of the day. The Cabriolet just needs a little bit more of a slippery surface, I think. The coupe is very tail happy. Even the 420D will go very sideways. This just feels a bit more neutral. Still a hoot to drive though. And this gearbox, I mean, look at that. Ask for a gear and it gives it to you. This is, you know, perceivably the same as most dual clutch gearboxes I've driven. You know, the only dual clutch gearboxes I've driven that are noticeably quicker than this, the M4, the C63S, and obviously the Porsche PDK. What's it like down a Tytaby road? Third gear is really good in this. It's got loads of torque. Carries you almost up to 60 miles an hour as well. Steering is good, and it's doing the usual BMW thing where it just wraps itself around you. You can place it exactly where you want it on the road. Always amazes me how good they can make a car handle, even when it's got a hard cabriolet roof and just a 2-litre diesel. Still got plenty of torque, so you can feel the rear just swiggling around. It's a mega car, this, for the money. Efficient, fun, and a convertible. And with the roof up, I mean, you can feel the weight over the rear a bit, but it doesn't feel soggy in the corners. Still feels just as sharp as the coupe does. It's only with the roof down you can feel a tiny, tiny bit of flex. But we're not talking a lot, maybe like 5–10%. So, it handles well, can be used in the winter, and is genuinely practical for a convertible. I'm still really surprised at just how comfortable it is with the roof off though. Never did I think you'd be able to do that. As always, I hope you enjoyed this review. If you did, give it a like and why not subscribe? Because not only can you see more content like this, you can see everything we have for sale, which obviously includes this lovely BMW 4 Series. My name's Tom, and you've been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.